Yeah, good idea, human. Shoot in the middle of the day where there's the greatest amount of contrast and all the lights blown out. So we started dating and everything was good during the honeymoon period, as typically is the case. And then it wears off. Then the mirage I wanted it to be and the mirage that I wanted her to be was no longer there. And you realize you don't even like them. And so how are you supposed to love somebody you can't even like? The logical answer is you cannot. One reason I've never really or never at all liked the honeymoon period in a relationship is that I can't trust it. It feels like you're at the probation period of a job. Everyone's faking it until they can feel secure. And then once they feel secure, then the real person comes out, and that's really what you want. I get sick and tired of guys saying, oh, well, that's just women. You've got to tolerate that. But we know deep down inside we shouldn't. We don't anywhere else in our lives, and somehow we are supposed to be in a relationship with ostensibly the most important person in our lives that we spend the most time with. It's ridiculous. We don't like when promises are broken because we would like to trust. Trust makes us feel safe. And when the most important person in your life that you spend most of the time with, your lover, the person you're romantically involved with, promises something and they swear by it. They swear on their life, words like forever. And naively at the start, it feels so good to want to do that, even though you would logically tell your best friend in the same situation, okay, temper that enthusiasm just a bit. Before we get to the point where we usually break up, we tolerate a disconnected, lonely misery. And most people say, oh, it's breakup time when the sex ends. But if we're honest with ourselves, it came way, way before that. And that's where a lot of the shame comes in, where we know we should have bailed long ago, but we tolerated misery for far too long. It's kind of a shameful realization that I really needed to wait until there was no sex, until I finally got hit over the head with reality. No, there is a glaringly obvious disconnect that happens way before, and you see it and you don't want it to be true. You think it's just a momentary lapse, or you were just seeing things, or they're in a bad mood. The incompatibility manifests itself in a way that they are so uncivil and cruel to you, where you notice this. Does she treat you worse than anyone on the planet? I can go in the street, tap the nearest stranger on the shoulder, and they will be kinder to me and more civil to me and more fair with me, and I can get along with them better than supposed pumpkin in my life. The person I say I love and says that loves me, that we are both lying to each other, not just her, but you as well. Does she say, well, you just need to put up with her temper and her mood swings and everything because that's just the way she is? But you notice that conveniently, she can modify her behavior and temper those things when it's in front of her boss and complete strangers to look good. In front of you, she doesn't care, and that says a lot. She should be treating you better. I mean, realistically, she should be treating you the same as she treats everyone else. You want that kind of consistency. But specifically, if she has problems with her character and how she deals with the world, because she values you the most and you value her, you should treat each other the best. You should try the hardest with each other because you value the space you're both in. That is the relationship. She's the cruelest in her life to you and the nicest to strangers. You notice that kind of person, you go out in public with friends, you go to a restaurant, it's all smiles from her to the waiting staff. It's all smiles from her to people in stores, pleases and thank yous. It's almost like, I don't get any of this. I get animosity. Do yourself a favor, open your eyes and actually see that with her temper, her patience, how she is with her anger and things like that, the time she gives to you, her fairness, does she give most of it to anyone and everything else but not you? So it's a nice act, She can act loving to strangers, but not you. So what does it say? That maybe in effect, you're a stranger she was loving to when she met you. And then all of a sudden she's stuck with a stranger and she doesn't know what to do with you. She's not used to staying for any length of time with a stranger. She's used to transient love, smiles to waiting staff and hookups and transient relationships, people like you, but you stayed. You're a stranger she's stuck with, and she doesn't know how to be kind to strangers for long term, only short term. It reminds her she's no longer as free as she used to be, to go from stranger to stranger and experience the new. You are the old. This is the cold water splashed on your face moment that I came to, is that when the supposed person that says she loves me treats me worse than anybody on the planet, when I can tap a stranger on the shoulder on the street and they can treat me, they can love me better and respect me better than she can, and her excuse is, well, that's just the way I am, you've got to accept me. But she loves strangers on the street more than you. What does that tell you? People like this who cannot be intimate, they relate by punching you and not embracing you, by pushing you away. And look, I don't care what she went through as a child any more than she shouldn't have to deal with my scars of a past relationship any more than I shouldn't have to deal with hers. Even going so far back as her family history, she needs to deal with that. I do not care. I'm not putting up with the mess she hasn't dealt with herself, and she shouldn't have to put up with my mess in the past as well. You can't ignore these things, guys. Otherwise, you're going to suffer in misery in the privacy of a relationship that should feel like home, that should be the safe haven away from the trash of the world. If she loves the trash of the world and looks for validation and love from complete strangers, but she does not give a crap about you, it says that she doesn't care about intimacy with you. She cares about intimacy with the world, with commercial validation, with what strangers think of her. She's living out there. She's not living in here with you. She's not intimate with you. She's intimate with the world. How she treats you compared to how she treats the world is a big thing. If I always come in second, heck, not even second, third, fourth, fifth, last place compared to everything else in her life, her shopping, her pastimes, her friends, complete strangers at restaurants, what people think on her social media, if she shows her best side in her social media feed and how she portrays herself to the world, but for you, she lets down the barriers, which she should, but the worst aspects, where she doesn't care about wiping her feet with you, she's always looking for approval from the world, but she doesn't give a damn about approval from you. That is a sign you're not with a good person, or at the very least, an incompatible person. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, support the channel any way you feel like. Links below. I really appreciate you guys have been supporting me on Patreon and PayPal. It means a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later, guys. See ya. Man, it's cold. Okay.